yours, right? I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. Chris, could you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Harlow? Here. Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mr. Engel?
Here.
Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone has received a copy of the meeting minutes from March 20th. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any additions or corrections? Chris, could you call the roll? Motion passes 5-0. We will go right into our legislative update. Michael?
I don't have anything to report because the legislature is not in session this week or next. So there's an old saying from the 1800s attributed to a bunch of different people. Don't know who said it originally, but it's no man's life, liberty, or property are safe while the legislature is in session. And, well, we're safe for the next 2 weeks.
Awesome. Okay, Jim, do you have a Butler Tech report?
Yeah, just a couple of things here. Just wanted to report the robotics team, I guess, qualified for the Worlds in St. Louis. And I believe, do you know when that's coming up?
Prom weekend. Same weekend as prom.
Oh.
Great. So they did qualify for that. And then at Butler Tech, they are going to have this summer, and I think they're going to have one at Northwest somewhere in our district. They're going to do a drone camp for 3 days. I don't know what the cost of it is, but the kids get to learn how to fly drones. They get to make their own drone, and it's a 3-day thing, and supply the food and drinks and stuff like that. So I know that's coming up. I'll have some further dates when they get them, because they're just getting ready to send out the information on.
What level of,
Please?
what grade levels for the others?
It's ages 7 to 15. And they think they're going to have a big interest in it, so we'll see.
Weren't they even advertising like USA Today? And
Yeah, there's been some articles in the USA Today, and Newsweek had an article on it. These guys that are doing this, they did it in Indianapolis for the schools there. And then our next Butler Tech meeting is April 18th, and it's going to be at the School of the Arts. We're going to start going to different buildings, having our board meetings for Butler Tech. September we're at the Bioscience, November we're at the Natural Science. And then I just wanted to have one of our meetings up at one of, Butler Tech's. So we just need to see when and where you guys want to have it at. Since we did it at the Bioscience last time.
And last time we checked with them, they said, just let us know.
Yeah, and I talked to John, the superintendent, and he just said, just give them the date and they'll have it set up for us. So we just have to pick where we want to go. So other than that, that's it.
okay, great. Hopefully, a lot of students from our area will take advantage of the drone camp. Okay, we'll move right into special reports. I think we have Susan Smith here and a group from Northwest High School to come up for the principal's report.
I brought some guests with me tonight. First of all, this is Danielle Soser. She is our AP and CCP and honors chemistry teacher at Northwest High School. And our PTSA president is running a Girl Scout meeting tonight for Pleasant Run Middle School. So she apologized 1,000,000 times that she could not be here. So I have her report. And then I brought my booster co-presidents who are going to give a quick update on the Northwest Boosters Association when we're done with our part. So we brought our whole show here for you guys. What Danielle and I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight and give you an update on is some changes from the state coming down in terms of Prepared for Success and the new report card indicator that we will be scored on moving forward. And we wanted to talk to you about how we are implementing some great things at our school to address some of these components of this report card indicator. So our Prepared for Success letter grade is based on those 6 measures up there. We get 1 point if a student earns a remediation-free college entrance exam score, so the ACT is the test that most of the students take, an honors diploma, or 12 points through an industry-recognized credential. And then they have what they call a bonus measure. So for every student who has earned the 1 point on the slide previously, as well as we'll earn 0.3 for students who score a 3 or more on an AP test. The IB test we don't offer, or who earn at least 3 credits through College Credit Plus. And so those numbers are calculated, the 1 point from the last slide and the 0.3 for these additional bonus points to determine a percentage, and then that percentage is assigned a letter grade for our school. This is a brand new report card indicator. So as with a lot of things with ODE, we're trying to hit a moving target, but we want to get ahead of some of the things that we're being asked to do here and some of the data specific to Northwest High School. So the data that's most recent has 2 cohorts in it, class of 2015 and 2016. Northwest High School had 125 students who earned a remediation-free ACT score or an honors diploma. So we got 1 point for each of those students. Then we had 48 students who earned bonus points because they received at least a 3 or higher on an AP test or earned at least 3 college credits while still enrolled in high school. So we had a total of 139.4 points, and that earned us 27.8% of the possible points. They take your total enrollment or the total number of kids that are included in those 2 cohorts. So we received a D on our initial report card. That's something that our school, my staff, were not happy with. So we started to think, well, what can we do to address some of the things that we're seeing here and some of the data that we're getting back, because we want our students obviously to be the most prepared they can for life when they leave Northwest High School. One of the things that we did is implemented the College Credit Plus program. We are fortunate in our school to have 5 teachers that qualified to be adjunct professors through UC and who are currently teaching college level courses at Northwest High School in 5 different areas. So I have a French teacher, a Spanish teacher, my chemistry teacher, a history teacher who's teaching government, and our financial services teacher all had to have master's degrees, not in education, but in their content field. So that's a huge undertaking. A lot of teachers get a master's degree in education. They needed to have it in their content area. And the hoops that UC makes us jump through to get them qualified to be adjunct professors would take the rest of my presentation, so I won't go into it, but it's a very difficult process. Part of that is they have to send their syllabus to a UC professor, a faculty member, to get it approved. That goes back and forth several times. So it's not like, oh, this looks great, go ahead and start teaching. They had to explain the resources they were going to use. Lesson plans had to be submitted. And then in addition to me coming in and observing them teaching, a UC faculty member also comes in and observes these teachers several times throughout the year to make sure that the program is holding its integrity. So it's not easy, but we have 5 teachers who've jumped through all these hoops because they want to do what's best for kids and offer college credit courses in our building. So we have 5 teachers. These are the courses that we offer. My Spanish and French teacher made sure that they were qualified to teach 2 different levels. So you can see the courses that we offer on the left, and then the number of semester hours that they'll be awarded if they earn a passing grade in these classes. So in the first year, which was last year, we had 2.7 of our students. On the student end, I want to mention, they have to be accepted to UC as if they were a graduate of Northwest High School already. So they have to fill out the actual UC application, pay to apply, meet all the requirements that UC would have for an incoming freshman, and some of these kids are going into their junior year of high school. So that part's rigorous as well. But we had 2.7% of our students taking a UC course on our campus. 7.7% of these kids were taking 3 different CCP courses, 27% were taking 2. And last year, 100% of those kids earned credit. So we're able to complete the course, have a passing grade, and earn UC credit that transfers to UC or any Ohio Public University from teachers in our building. That does not include the kids who took an AP course. So we'll get to that in a little bit. This is strictly just CCP or College Credit Plus. In looking at our AP data, and I won't read through all of this for you, but we had basically 37.7% of our students got a 3 or better. So the state of Ohio accepts a score of 3 or better, not just for our Prepared for Success score, but for college credit. So we, again, weren't extremely happy with this data, so we're working to improve our AP program at Northwest to move some of those students who are maybe at the 2 range into the 3 range to be able to get them college credit while they're still in high school. 100 total exams were taken last year by students at Northwest, and like I mentioned before, 38% were a 3 or better, and they also earned us then the bonus 0.3 for on the Prepared for Success score. Just to give you an idea, we included this data so that you could see compared to the state. It would make it seem as if the tests were, if you have to get a 3 or better to get college credit, that most students got a 3 or a better statewide. But if you look at the data here, it does not indicate that. So in the state of Ohio, for example, only 5% of the students who took the physics test earned a 5. So I just kind of wanted to demonstrate the level of difficulty of the AP test and how earning credit through the AP program is not easy. So on the left are the Ohio state averages, and then how Northwest High School students performed. So what we did is we created an AP enrichment bell. We found that our students, first of all, are trying to take several AP or CCP classes in a day. So this bell is an extra bell with our AP teachers to kind of reinforce what they've learned in class, to give them times to complete labs, because we only have 48-minute bells. Some of Danielle's labs are 90 minutes. So we included this AP enrichment course. And what we've listed up here are things that the students work on in that bell in order to be more prepared to take the test, to have longer time with their teachers to kind of go over what they were confused on, and also to complete some of these labs. So right now, students who take AP Bio and AP Chem, 2 of the hardest courses that we offer on our campus, also take this AP enrichment bell in between those 2 classes. So there's the flexibility. Some days Danielle can keep them longer if needed, and some days our AP Biology teacher keeps them longer if needed, so that they can get all of their inquiry activities and labs completed, and then they're working on AP test strategies with the kids. Because part of it, as you guys all know, with any standardized test is knowing the strategies that are going to help you improve your score. So we have modeled both of these classes as well as the AP Enrichment Bell on college courses, and what do you need to know to do well on the AP test. In terms of ACT, which is another component of our Prepared for Success score, these are our composite scores, or our average scores, I'm sorry, for students that are enrolled at Northwest this year who have taken the ACT. This includes the first 4 administrative or administrations of the test. It does not include the test that the juniors just took in March. As you guys know, it's now mandated that every junior be able to take the ACT for free one time. That was on March 21st, so we don't have those scores yet. So that will be included in our next round of data, but moving or including the 4 tests to this point, those were the average scores of students at Northwest who chose to take the test. And science being as high as it is and above the state average in there is something that we're very proud of, which is the work of these guys in our science department for sure. Our students do really well in science and then in the reading test. We've worked really hard now that there is a state requirement for all students to take the ACT. We've worked really hard to include more ACT prep into our school day and then after school as well. So our English 3 teachers have taken the test strategies that we know work and embedded them into our English 3 curriculum, since every junior will be taking the test. My 2 study hall proctors, who are amazing, said, what can we do to make study hall more engaging, and what can we do to help? And they've learned the ACT test strategies, my 2 study hall proctors. So they have materials in study hall that they give to students who come in who have, I don't have anything to work on, they're having them work on ACT practice tests. So they jumped on board to help with that. The credit union, who is an amazing business partner to us, paid for 2 of my teachers to do after-school tutoring for the ACT leading up to the tests, each of the 4 tests so far this year. And we weren't sure when we implemented that if 1 student would show up. Most days we had 20 to 30 kids who were getting free ACT tutoring because the credit union is so wonderful and generous to me, and it worked great. There were kids who raised their scores by 1 and 2 points just by going to our after-school study sessions. And then next year we're going to offer an ACT prep course during the school day as an elective, and we're going to target our upper level sophomores so that they have that prep going into junior year the first time they take the test. And then I want to kind of turn it over to Danielle, but before I do, she's amazing, and she's going to be a much better presenter than I am this evening. But I went to Danielle and said, what can we do to get kids more ready for chemistry? And she said to me, I need my class in a blended lab. She said, everything is technology. I could do so much if I could have each of the kids in front of a computer, and you wouldn't picture science classes going with sitting in front of a computer. So we have the rest of our presentation. We want to kind of show you what she does to incorporate technology, to incorporate skills that they need for college, and how she's getting her students to perform not just well on the AP test, but also in her CCP class. And she teaches the honors chemistry, which is a precursor class to those 2 classes. So I'm going to turn it over to her now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if I stumble over my words. I'm used to dealing with teenagers on a regular basis, so I apologize if that happens. So I'm really honored to be here that Susan asked me to come and do this. Any opportunity that I get to brag on my kids a little bit, I'm more than happy to do that. So I have flipped my chemistry classroom. Since teaching blended, I'm given the capability to have Blackboard account for my classes. It has seriously opened up the door to all of these opportunities for my students. So I just jumped both feet in and just went for it, and I flipped my whole classroom my first year. So flipped classroom is basically you teach content through lectures at home. So the students are watching a video, a YouTube video of myself teaching content at home, and then in class gives us more opportunity to do practice, do labs, do inquiry, because as Susan stated, my class is only 48 minutes long. So I'm very minimized with time for labs. So doing this flipped classroom has really opened the door to allowing me to have more than 1 class or 1 day to do a lab, because my schedule has been opened up tremendously. So that's kind of what a flipped classroom is. Of course, obviously after the quarters, I ask students how do they think it's going. You know, as a trial run, I'm a scientist, so I like to make sure that I'm collecting the necessary data to implement strategies that they need help with. So this is just some of the stuff that the students gave me positive feedback on. They like how easy it is instead of taking notes in class. The last comment says gives more class time to do practice instead of having to spend a whole bell explaining the topic. And I think this really lends well to the positive data that's enforced with putting the responsibility for the children's knowledge back on them. That way they can take more ownership of their learning. And so this allows me to do that, and I absolutely love it.
So are they watching this every night?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes there will be 1 lecture that bodes over to 2 classes, but most of the time their homework is to watch a video.
Okay.
How are you making sure that they watch it?
Now, that's a great question.
And every student
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
doing it.
So Blackboard has this awesome technology to where you can see if a student is clicking on the link. So that's the first way that I do it. But then, of course, they get tricky, right? They're teenagers. So what they'll do is they'll click on it and say, okay, I know that she now sees that I've clicked on this link. So what I started to do is embed hints in the video. So like halfway through the video, I'll say, write this down. And then at the end of the video, I give them a link, or I say, email me what I told you to write down. So they realize that these tricks vary within the video. So they're like, the video is 5 minutes long. I might as well just watch the video, get it over with, instead of trying to find the trick. So, and I'm going to be honest with you, at the beginning of the year, it was I did get a lot of resistance. They were like, why aren't you teaching me this? But the more and more they got used to it, they said, I like having you here when I'm doing problems instead of doing them at my house. And they get to watch it more than once. So if they are reviewing for a test, they can go back and watch the video from that lecture previous in the unit. So yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. That's something, right? Oh yeah. So I do have an example. Thanks. So there's evidence that shows. I don't know how to start it. Should I just click?
Amy's going to start it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You know how to convert from one side of the chemical reaction to the other, or on the same side of the chemical reaction. Now we have to talk about, okay, I'm not going to have an abundant amount of chemicals for every single chemical reaction I have. My boss may just tell me, hey, you only have 10 grams of this, make it work. Okay, so we have to kind of talk about, well, if I'm only given a certain amount of something, how do I decide when the reaction?
So there's evidence that shows that students get more out of video lessons or visuals if their actual instructor is doing it. So I have my little webcam on my computer, and I make these every single day. The notes that you see that are projected is the textbook that I've created for the course. So these are my own individual notes, and every student is given one of these so they can follow along with the notes just as they would with like an active reader or something like that. And I have like 3,000 hits, which is like really cool. Sorry. I don't know how to click. Now
It's Amy's driving that.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
You were bragging too much.
I know, right? I got cocky a little bit. So again, this is just kind of reiterating what I'm saying about the flipped classroom. I've had a lot of positive feedback on it. I have some parents that are here that I have students in my class. They were just, I don't want to say that they were raving with it. They really enjoy the class. And I think a lot of, when they first came in, they were like, oh, blended science. And then they realized, okay, this can actually work. So.
How many kids are in your class?
So at the beginning of the year, it was pretty evenly split, but now I'm down to like 30 in one bell and probably about 25 in my second bell. But we're hoping for like 50-50 next year. But I think that'll probably change once they can start taking honors biology their freshman year. We'll probably start to get more students. Okay, so after honors chemistry, and like Susan stated, I'm very fortunate that I get my feeder class. So I teach my kids honors chemistry, and then I can promote them up to CCP and AP, and I teach them that as well. So they have that opportunity to take AP or CCP, depending on which one they want to do, or I'll take advanced chemistry students as well, as long as my advanced chemistry teacher recommends them. My goal is to get as many students in my AP and CCP class as possible. I'll take anybody that's willing to want to learn more about chemistry and that's willing to be successful. Chemistry has that coined persona of being for smart people and all of that. And so somebody who struggled in high school with chemistry themselves, I want to change that. I want everybody to realize that they can do chemistry and do it well. So this is kind of what Susan was talking about with my coursework has to be approved by UC. So you can kind of see what my students take first semester. So this is first semester. So students are earning 5 credits for just one semester. That's 4 credits for lecture and 1 credit for lab. And that's like a full 5 semesters at like UC. Yeah, that's there.
How much does that save in the kid?
Oh gosh, I think UC is like $160 an hour. So yeah, so if it costs $160 a credit hour, that's $3,000. Yeah, yeah.
All the parents should listen to that.
I know. Yeah.
I'd love to see if Jenny was here.
Ms. Stoser, I think that you should, talk about the fact that if the kids are taking CCP, that we are still encouraging if they want to take the AP test.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Ms. Obermeyer. Students may want to take CCP But the way that UC has set the course up is that you can't intercombine the classes because UC wants their credit to be only their credit. However, like Ms. Obermeyer suggested, is that they still are learning the same content. So if they want to take the AP test at the end of the year, they're more than opted to do that. And if they want to do that, I tell them, make sure you let me know because I need to be able to give you tools and materials and coach you to train you for the AP test because it is, in my opinion, the hardest AP test. So this is the second semester. So again, they're earning 4 lecture hours and 1 lab. So they're earning 10 credit hours. So this is really racking up their credit hours. This is really important to me because I think anybody can take chemistry, not just if you're going into a science or a STEM career. So, I mean, it's great if you are. I tell my students that are like, I want to be a biochemist. I'm like, okay, you need to take CCP chemistry. Or I want to be an engineer. I say, okay, you need to take CCP chemistry. But my students that want to do business or finance or something like that, I say, hey, just get your science credit out of the way. Because when you get an undergrad, you have to have a credit in science. So I said, let's just get it out of the way in high school. It's paid for. So I want to say about 4 kids in CCP Chem right now that are looking into like actuary science and things like that, where they're maybe not necessarily going into a science or a STEM career. And then this is what our students actually have to say about their...
Taking a lot of blended classes before, so I'm used to like the blended C of all this stuff, but I've never taken a blended science class. So it was a little different in the beginning of the year for me to get used to. You give the notes and videos on Blackboard, so I can go home and I can take the notes from the video. But also if I don't understand something on the notes or like a practice problem in class, I can go back to the notes and hear what you had to say again. I signed up for AP Chemistry. I think I understand everything that we're learning, so I feel like I'll be prepared for the next level up.
So in honors chemistry, it was different from the other honors classes because of the way that you just taught it and the way you presented information. So like when you gave notes or like forced us to teach ourselves out of a textbook, or you just like showed us different skills to use, and that just helped me like understand the content more and memorize things easier.
Definitely the way that we took notes in chemistry, it's the same layout for all my other classes. It's that format of taking notes really helped with all my classes and studying and get the information, the most important information down. And
I think I've developed other skills, especially with critical thinking, because a lot of times like when we're given a problem, there's so much information that you have to kind of take a step back from and understand what's actually being given to you. And then like I use that in English and history. Like
definitely the problem solving with labs, figuring it out, it also helps with critical thinking and thinking outside the box when dealing with problems, especially outside of school when you're like, hey, this isn't working, what do we do?
Yeah.
And that definitely helps because in labs, it's in a controlled environment, but still we get to make sure our labs are the way it goes, and we have to do that with our own labs.
And with the labs, like when we use Excel, I've never had to use Excel before in another class. You're like making other charts. Yeah, so that helped because like the ACT science section is all graphs and charts. So I have a better understanding of them. It's prepared me for college. So I was recently on a college visit and I got to go into some of the classrooms and just listen to the teacher's lecture, and I was in the sophomore level statistics class, and I was able to pretty much figure out everything that was going on based on the skills that I learned in chemistry.
Our teachers always push for the best. For example, our AP and language and composition course, if you want an A, you have to go above and beyond to get an A, which really helps with preparing you for college work because they want the best work that you can get.
They always want to help you, and they'll come in early before school to help you prepare for a test or anything. If you don't understand it, they'll offer you tutoring. You can go to like ACT prep.
Yeah, I think teachers stress knowledge over just like memorizing things and things like that. They really want you to understand what you're learning and not necessarily focus on your grade. And they provide you with a lot of resources. Like I have teachers like send YouTube videos or send links to different websites that will help you just get a better understanding, and they give you a lot of different resources to use. Okay, so I feel like the teachers are really concerned about like our future careers and not just college. So like Mr. Wagner, a lot of times he talks about his experience in college and how that's helped develop like his, just like his work ethic, his time management, and how that all applies to his teaching. And then Ms. Stoser got me in contact with her sister who was in pharmacy school at the time, and she found out that I wanted to be a pharmacist, and I was able to get lunch with her and then just like talk about the career as a whole and understand the bigger picture.
Like, sure, sometimes you can be late with work at high school, but now with our AP and honors classes, they're like, no, you need to have it on this date because you need to make sure. For college, it's the same way. You need to meet this exact deadline.
Yeah.
We did not bribe them or pay them. And Danielle was doing the interviewing, but we loved, when we watched this back, we loved that they mentioned so many other teachers and so many other classes. They weren't just kissing up to her in her class. So, and the kids are the best part, so we had to include them in our presentation. So, do you guys have questions for us about our programs or for Danielle about her classes?
Is it a little bit more challenging if you're out sick, like for a sub, since?
That's a great question. So luckily I have a teacher's assistant being in a blended class with Miss Judy King, who is amazing, and I can pretty much just email Judy and say, I need this to happen. I am very particular about my schedules, so my students get schedules for their unit at the beginning of every unit. So if I'm not there, I can either post on Blackboard or email Ms. King or make sure that the sub says students are working on the material that they would have done in class. So, I mean, I hate being out. I try to not be out, but I have 2 little kids. No, I don't find it difficult.
Okay.
Because my students, they know my
Expectations.
thank you. So they know that I get mad if something's not done and I'm not there.
Well, I think it's a great idea with the flipped classroom because I found that when my kids were in school, it was a little bit frustrating because of the way you learn when you're in school is not the way they're being taught nowadays. So when they're actually working on the problems and stuff like that, they're now with you instead of with me.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, and I think it bodes really well with chemistry because students won't do the homework if they can't figure it out the first time. So I want to make sure that I'm there with them, coaching them through the material. So
It takes a lot of frustration out.
yes, absolutely, and they like chemistry, so that's good.
Have you found that any of the other teachers are starting to do this, flipping?
Yeah, and a lot of them are like, can I take my Plan Bell and go watch her teach? And I was like, of
awesome.
course, yeah. And then the kids, more so than me, are asking their other teachers, why don't you do what Mrs. Stoster does, and then we can re-watch what you're teaching. So she started a trend now in our school, which is great, which is what we wanted. And it's causing the students to have to take ownership of their learning, be independent, not rely on the teacher standing up lecturing and giving you all the answers. So it's been a really good transition for us and for our top level kids. So.
Do you find that the flipped classroom allows for more efficient use of classroom time as well?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You're not looking here and looking there.
No, and I love it because I'm a mover, so I like to move around my classroom. So, and that's all I do. When students are working together on problems, I'm literally snaking up and down the rows, and it gives me more opportunity to form groups based on abilities, and it's been great. I have nothing.
But it was new, so the kids at first were like, we don't want to do this.
Super
And now they're like,
resistant
now we want every teacher to do this.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
I'm curious, having taken a couple college chemistry courses, we had like a 2.5-hour lab. How do you do lab in 48 minutes?
And that's one of the issues that we have, and that's why I love flipped classrooms so much, because it has really allowed me, because no more do I have to lecture and then do a couple practice problems, because bam, that's 48 minutes right there. So what I do is I lecture. If I can get one practice problem in the video, I will. But most of the time it's lecture. I do a couple of practice problems, and then they're working on their own or with a partner or with a small group. So it's really minimized the time for them learning the content, and now they can apply it more, which was kind of my other goal with this doing this flipped classroom. And since now I'm getting the hang of it, I can't wait till next year because we'll probably be in the lab maybe every third day.
Well, and it's her and the AP biology teacher work really well, so if Danielle needs the AP enrichment bell in addition to her 48 minutes, it gives her another 48 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the AP bio teacher might say, you got them Monday, but I'm gonna need them Wednesday for our lab. So they have that flexibility with that AP enrichment bell.
Yeah, and I train the students. So like, I don't have to say, this is how you do this. I literally can push a card out and they're grabbing all their materials and they're getting started right away. Yeah.
Very good.
And then I'll give Mrs. Puccini's 1-minute PTSA updates. Again, she's with Girl Scouts at Pleasant Run tonight, so she couldn't be here. She wanted me to tell you guys she has 158 members of the PTSA this year. We had our prom fashion show in February and raised $800, which all goes to after prom, which is going to be at the Clippard YMCA this year. Our prom is May 5th, and then after prom is obviously right after that. They are going to be offering 10 $250 scholarships through the PTSAs in our feeder schools and at our school this year to seniors. And then our staff and faculty, our staff versus student basketball game earned another $700 that's going to go towards scholarships as well. And she said if anyone's driving by Pleasant Run Elementary, this Saturday or next Sunday, they're having a car wash and taking donations for PTSA, so she would love to see you guys. And then I'm going to turn it over to my booster presidents.
Okay, there's two of us. We're co-presidents. Yes, we go everywhere together. So we'll try to make it brief. For those of you who don't know us yet or we haven't hit you up for money yet, I'm Dorothy Haynes. This is Dana Schoen, and we're the co-presidents for Northwest Boosters Association. This school year began with Dana and me working in the Northwest community to build new partnerships, renew old ones, and revitalize our existing partnerships with a membership roster this year of over 147 members, each supporting our students to varying degrees, some with time, some with resources, many with both. We have worked with local businesses, corporate partners, and grantors such as Northgate Mall and her tenants, Children's Hunger Alliance, and so many more to help us find new ways to continue to serve and grow Northwest High School organizations, athletics, and indeed our entire student body. One of our newest, because we've got so much going on, you can go to our website and take a peek at it. One of our newest and most recent, our most exciting programs we piloted this year has been the Northwest After School Enrichment Program. Although it benefits all of the students involved in extracurricular activities, this program was initially created following a request by a coach who just wanted chocolate milk for his athletes because it builds muscle fiber and they were needing to make gains in the weight room. A few phone calls later, a little grant writing, some training, and getting the paperwork right. We have provided, as of today, 6,000, this is from October, 6,557 very healthy, whole, locally sourced meals with an equal amount of that muscle-building chocolate milk for the student athletes of Northwest High School for the insane price of $0.00. Students love the meals. The coaches love the gains that they're seeing in the athletes. We were originally just going to pilot for the fall, and when I went to the head coaches meeting and says, okay, just to let you know, we're stopping for spring, they were like, no, show us what to do, we'll run the program. And that's pretty much what we're transitioning to. Today, I received a call from Aditi Naik at CHA that we have qualified to renew for next school year. And we will be receiving our intent to renew package from CHA for the 2017 school year, along with the opportunity and option to expand should we choose to do so, which is really great because, as you know, we're coming for the middle school. We are their boosters, so we're heading over there next. This is just one of the many exciting things happening in the Northwest Booster family, and Dan and I both feel just extremely fortunate and honored to serve with such a fantastic team and such a wonderful community. Dana's going to go ahead and share with you some more exciting news about some of our friends in the community who are returning to the Northwest family after a little bit of time away, as well as developments in our fundraising efforts. Well, when I was here last, I believe I asked all of you if you could feel the excitement that we were generating in Northwest High School. So today I'm going to answer that question for you. There are so many amazing things. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, because I get really excited and then I go on a tangent, so this will keep me on track. So there are so many amazing things happening in our school. But as it relates to boosters, our Building Camelot campaign has helped to produce a beautiful turf field complete with a new track. But really, what we have been building at Northwest High School is so much more than the renovation of an athletic facility. We have been building a sense of community. The youth football teams, the Mighty Knights, have been able to play on our field, helping to solidify the emotion of playing together as Knights and growing up as a Knight. We have also been fortunate to be able to rent the facility to CYO and a few other track organizations. And after 12 long years, we've most recently hosted a track meet. We had the Coaches Classic last Wednesday. If it weren't for the weather, it really went really, really well. I think we got everything in before the weather hit. It was, they're coming. Oh, they're coming back? Yes. Yeah. We're so excited when they say they want to come back. We work really, really hard to create a really hospitable environment at Northwest so that people feel welcome when they come there, so they want to come back. We're really trying to erase any negative connotation anyone would ever have about our school, because it's such an awesome place for our kids to be. So special thanks. This is my thank you to Brad Watkins and Susan Smith and our board, Melissa Obermeyer, Wendy Pacini. We have an amazing board and amazing administrators that we work with that we wouldn't be able to accomplish all that we've accomplished this year without their support. I also want to thank Todd Bowling, the administration, the board, for all of your support, because without that we would not have been able to move forward with Building Camelot in the way that we did. Building Camelot has been the cornerstone for building pride and value in our students and their families. So mark your calendars, April 25th, we're hosting a tri-meet for our middle schools at our field, at our facility. Come out and support our young athletes and kind of see what that sense of community is all about. We've been building that for a long time, and we're really seeing that all come to fruition. So my last thing is, we are Northwest proud. Good night.
Thank you. Great presentation tonight. At this time, we're going to move into reports from employee organizations. Do we have any report? I believe we do, from certificated and licensed employees.
All right, good evening again. So I have the pleasure of doing our third installment of the Distinguished Educators Awards again tonight. So again, the Northwest Association of Educators want to recognize the excellent work and service that our teachers provide our students every day. We asked our teachers to nominate their peers for this recognition. After reviewing the many responses, we have selected 2 more teachers to present our award to this evening. So we're going to start with Melinda Woodward, who goes by Mindy. She told me that tonight. She is a special education teacher from Northwest High School, and Richard Dunn had nominated her for this award, and here is what he wrote. Melinda has been a mentor of mine for the 7 years I have been an educator. She teaches a special education unit for students who are transitioning into adulthood. Melinda works diligently with Hamilton County Developmental Disability Services and Opportunities for Ohioans with Disability Services to ensure students are set up with as many supports as possible after exiting school. She helps students to work with these agencies to set up interviews and obtain employment throughout the school year. She also created and plans the Northwest Spring Games, which provides an opportunity for students in special education classrooms to participate in a track and field day at Northwest High School. This event has been a major success with students and staff in attendance, and is always a great time for the students who attend. Lastly, she makes sure to develop relationships with students and their parents. She constantly contacts parents when issues arise or help plan for a student's future. She has been an exemplary mentor, and I hope to continue learning from her for years to come. So, it is great to see that our special needs students have such a wonderful advocate working for them. So let's congratulate Mindy Woodward. Yeah, I forgot to warn them ahead of time. If they wanted to say something, they could. So our next one, well, here, I'll just read it. When I opened up the spreadsheet with all the nominations for our teachers, I was amazed to see that one of our teachers was nominated by 4 different colleagues. Based on that alone, we had no choice but to give LaWanda Williams from White Oak Middle School our award. There was much said, so I will be sharing several statements tonight, and I'll read it as quickly as possible. From our association representatives, Krista Knapp and Jamie Lineberger, they said, LaWanda goes above and beyond. During her free time, she tutors after school, takes on students that are homeschooled, makes sure students use their time wisely in a 2-hour detention by encouraging students to focus on academics. She is the social studies department chair. Within her classroom, she is one of the most respected teachers among students and staff. She plans differentiated lessons that are engaging to all students. She has been asked many times by administration to share her knowledge of differentiating. She graciously opens her classroom to anyone who wants to come observe to better their own teaching. She genuinely cares about each child that she encounters in her day. She runs our school FEA, which is Future Educators of America program. LaWanda is an asset to White Oak Middle School, and we are so thankful we get to learn from her each day. Stacy Cook adds, LaWanda Williams is one of the most dedicated, hardworking, caring, fun, energetic, hilarious, organized, helpful, and encouraging teachers I have ever met. Professionally, LaWanda helps me with such things as best teaching practices, new ideas, and how to deal with difficult situations. As a friend, LaWanda supports me, encourages me, and always makes me laugh. We laugh a lot. I truly cherish LaWanda as my colleague and friend. Most importantly, though, LaWanda positively impacts White Oak Middle School students. Kids respect her, they trust her, they learn from her, they take her advice. I see her disciplining them 1 second, and the next they are laughing like crazy. I'm not quite sure how she does it, but somehow she makes these middle schoolers love her in every single way. Former students return year after year to visit her and keep in touch. While middle school can often bring back many painful memories for people, LaWanda has students who remember middle school with fondness because she was a part of their lives. How awesome is that? LaWanda puts in countless hours at White Oak. Not only does she come in early and stay late to make her lessons perfect and differentiated for every student, but she is also the social studies chair, department head, the FEA chair, a tutor, and she even runs a 2-hour detention program. Somehow, LaWanda still manages to be a fantastic wife and mother outside of school, which she has several family members here. And having met her family, it is very clear that she is loved and respected at home as much as she is at school. LaWanda does so much for others, and it is time for her to be publicly recognized and appreciated. Thank you, LaWanda, for all you do. White Oak Middle School is so lucky to have you. So that was from Stacy Cook. I'm getting there. All right, we got more. And finally, Dee Dee Enderly says, LaWanda Williams is an exceptional teacher, leader, and human being. She is an expert in her content area, and she is a master teacher. She plans learning activities that are not only challenging, but fun. Her students have created countries and have even written their own teenage constitutions. They are authors of flip books, creators of t-shirts, and challengers of history. They are taught that history is a matter of perspective because it was written by the victors. LaWanda teaches students to above all, think for themselves. LaWanda is a leader in the truest sense of the word. She has been our team unity leader for many years. Again, she's the social studies chair. She takes on lots of extra roles at White Oak. She runs the FEA program, serves as a tutor, participates in many after-school committees. During all these endeavors, LaWanda has remained a positive and pragmatic influence. LaWanda's highest goal in life is to make a positive impact on the people around her, and she achieves that every day. I am one of the lucky ones because I get to have LaWanda in my life. I have learned from her as a teacher, friend, and human being. I would love for LaWanda to be recognized with the outstanding educator she is. And it was signed sincerely, Deanna Enderly. And LaWanda tells me that she was the PTA Teacher of the Year for her school and will be recognized as the Teacher of the Year for the district as well. So congratulations to LaWanda Williams.
I just want to say I love working for the district and I love what I do. And I don't do it to be recognized. I do it because I love teaching and I want my students to have a love of learning, which is something that I have. But it is nice to be recognized as an educator. Thank you.
Would you both mind sharing any guests that are here tonight with you?
Yes, my husband is here. My son, the mailman, is here back there.
That's a noble job.
My daughter is here, my niece and my mom, and my two little adopted great niece and nephew. That's another challenge I took on this year. The two little ones are here, and then Adam Hall, our assistant principal, and Miss Dawn Backus is here to support me as well. I love White Oak. I love what I do.
And my daughter Taylor back there. And my husband Woody. And my mother Ella.
She went all the way back in the back.
Jeanette Garbay's been my assistant for what? Something like that. Mr. Smith and Mr. Burton.
Oh, I did want to say one more thing.
Go for it.
I don't like forgiveness. I would not ever be able to do what I do without the great team and support at White Oak and the support from my family. So I did want to acknowledge that. It's not a it's not a one-woman show. It's a lot of support and the staff on our team, the BLT, and our team unity is a great staff. So I have a lot of support in that area as well.
And the association in your envelope is a certificate and a $50 gift card that we hope that you will use to support your students that you see and work with every day. So congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for sharing. We look forward to seeing many more of
May
these.
22nd. It's the last one.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
And congratulations to both of you too, and to your families.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on. Do we have any reports from classified employees? How about school related organizations? I have not received any comments from community, so we will move right into superintendent.
Thank you. The first item is a certificated licensed personnel item. Certificated licensed personnel retirements and resignations. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve their certificated licensed personnel retirements and resignations as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is a classified personnel item, classified retirements and resignations. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the classified retirements and resignations as listed.
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any questions? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Please bear with me for the next item, but I'd like to read it in case folks don't have computers and can't open the attachments. But the next item is a fiscal item. It is a homestead exemption enhancement resolution. Northwest Local School District Board of Education resolves the following enhancement for all citizens, including and not limited to senior citizens. Whereas Ohio school funding for K-12 education is based primarily on local property tax revenue, and whereas Northwest Local School District, Hamilton County, Ohio have a stable but aging population, and whereas many senior citizens' largest asset is their home, and whereas House Bill 59 enacted in 2013 eliminated the 12.5% property rollback for new school district levies, and whereas this has created a new financial burden for many senior citizens living in their home on a fixed income, And whereas the current property tax homestead program provides partial relief for senior citizens, and whereas the homestead exemption program was modified in 2014 to means test income and limit eligibility for the homestead exemption, and whereas the Northwest Local School District believes that many senior citizens support K through 12 education and recognize its importance in providing educated citizens who will become productive members of society. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Northwest Local School District strongly encourages the Ohio General Assembly to enhance the homestead exemption program to provide additional financial assistance for senior citizens. And be it further resolved that the treasurer of the Northwest Local School District be directed to provide copies of this resolution to locally elected State House of Representative members, State Senator, and leadership of the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate and the Governor. The Superintendent and Treasurer recommend the Board of Education approve the homestead exemption enhancement resolution as listed.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions regarding this?
Just a comment that I have, Pam, is that it's good that we are making this resolution with the burden on seniors, and then the means testing, people who've paid in and perhaps I don't know, I see that ultimately happening with Social Security and other things, but I'm glad we're making a stand or a statement on this and certainly support it 1,000%.
Okay. Chris, call for the vote. Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is a fiscal item also. Then and now certificates over $3,000. Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.41 states in part that no subdivision shall make any contract or give any order involving the expenditure of money unless there is attached thereto a certificate by the treasurer. Then and now certificates by the treasurer issued over $3,000 must be authorized by the Board of Education. Superintendent and Treasurer recommend the Board of Education authorize the payments over $3,000 requiring a then and now certificate as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding then and now certificates? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is a certificated licensed personnel item. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the certificated licensed personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on the certificated and licensed personnel items? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
I would like to bring your attention that Matthew Hawes, the new assistant principal at Colerain High School, will be at the next board meeting to be introduced.
Okay.
When is he starting?
Effective August 1st, 2017. The next item is a classified personnel item. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the classified personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding classified personnel items? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is curriculum and instruction. This is the textbook adoption. We brought it to you at the last board meeting for information, provided copies, summaries. So this is action. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the adoption of the textbooks as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded on the textbook adoptions. Any comments? Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is the 2017-2018 Program of Studies revision for Info and Action. Butler Technology is adding an Introduction to Cosmetology course for the 2017-2018 school year. Superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the revision to the 2017-2018 Program of Study as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions regarding the Introduction to Cosmetology? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is a work-study course description. The curriculum department is submitting an updated course of study for the work-study program. The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the item as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any question on the work-study course description? Chris? Motion passes 5-0.
The next item is curriculum and instruction. It is the online curriculum adoptions. It is for information only. The curriculum department is recommending the following online curriculum: Edgenuity, online and blended learning solutions that deliver video-led instruction and real-world assignments to engage students, help teachers personalize instruction with real-time data, and empower administrators with flexible solutions to address academic challenges. Daryl, is there anything you'd like to add? Jenny?
Currently, the district uses Apex as our online curriculum, and we went through kind of a rigorous review process with teachers and our instructional specialists to really look at Apex to see if it was really meeting our needs. There were a lot of things that Apex did not offer that we thought that Edgenuity could offer, so we have decided to move toward Edgenuity in the future as our online curriculum. We actually will be keeping about 5 or 6 licenses for Apex for the next school year. It'll give us access to all of our data, all of our information for a year, so that we can download anything that we need. And it also gives us the opportunity that if we do need that Apex for a specific student or a specific situation, we'll still have it. But we are moving to Edgenuity for our online curriculum. And that's used in credit recovery. Help me out where you use that all.
Passage.
Northwest Passage. And we'll also be able to use it as students take the end of course exams. They do have courses that will help remediate them if they don't get the high enough score. They can actually take those courses and then retake the tests.
Okay.
It's the same program that Butler Tech uses for their credit recovery. So we have students who have already experienced this. So we actually talk to students as well to get their feedback on Apex versus Edgenuity. So it aligns with what Butler Tech is doing to help us kind of be a little bit more seamless with some of our kids who are in the Butler Tech programs as well.
Anybody have any questions? Great. Okay, Todd.
Yes, for the superintendent's update, I just wanted to bring to your attention a possible solution to graduation options. This is an alternative that is in addition to the 3 current pathways and the career tech alternative. The requirements that are being put out there by the Board of Education that they'll be looking at is complete all required high school courses, take all required end of the course exams, retake once any ELA or math test which a student scores a 1, and then they have to meet 2 of the following conditions. One is a 93% attendance rate. The second is a 2.5 GPA for 4 senior year courses. Complete a senior capstone project as defined by the district. Complete 120 hours of work experience, including but not limited to internship, co-op, apprenticeship, or work study, and or community service during the senior year as defined by the district. Earn 3 credits or more in a college credit plus, and successfully complete an international baccalaureate or advanced placement course and receive a score on the respective exam that would earn college credit, 4 or higher on an international baccalaureate, and then 3 or higher on an AP exam. So I think they're scrambling right now to see what they can do. High School to Work is who passed this one out, but we've also seen things from Pat Bruns that is coming around. So I think they're still looking at alternatives. Again, right now it's the juniors who are our current juniors who will be looking at the points needed for graduation. So these are the alternatives they're looking at. So I'll let you know more as things come forward. Lastly, wanted just to address the camera in the audience. Last Friday, I went door to door and delivered 120 flyers. Got to talk to about 12 residents who are living around Beavis. The Beavis residents should notice that we have locked the gates at the front and back. Cars are going into the parking lot causing all kinds of damage and noise and racing and hot rodding and so on and so forth. We let them know that the Beavis building will be torn down by August, the end of August this year. Well, not this school year, but by September 1 of Labor Day of 2017. So by September 1, 2017, Beavis will be demolished. A couple of them said, well, what took so long, or what was the decision making around that? And we just wanted folks to know, we knew that since we had to demolish Perry, Taylor, and Struble, that we could package Beavis with it and save money. And because we were able to package it with them, we probably saved anywhere from $200,000 to $350,000. They were very appreciative. Their next question was, what will happen to the property? I said, well, with the property, we will plant grass and we will go from there. We will try to sell it to a realtor. We will keep it mowed. We will take care of that part, but we will try to sell it so they can put a housing development or of some use. So they were all very pleased with that. The biggest relief they had was that they were taking it personal because people was driving on the lot and dumping couches, bed mattresses, and everything else. And they were as upset over that, not at the school, because they did thank us for coming and getting that stuff immediately once it appeared. But it went pretty well. I think they're very positive, so I just think they need to know that when that school will be demolished, and it will be by September 1 of 2017.
Okay. At this time, any community members have any questions? Boy, that room emptied quickly here. Okay, we'll move right into board comments. Chris?
Just real quick, Pam, I stopped by Pleasant Run Elementary, the new building. There were men, women, I guess, too, I don't know, working there on Saturday, pouring the retaining wall. And so the cement has been poured. We are underway, folks.
Michael?
I would just like to congratulate our teachers who were recognized tonight. Thank them for their outstanding work for the district. Also wanted to bring up, I know Chris is really interested in this too, but the dedication of the track around White Oak Middle School. I will not be able to be there on Thursday, but I hope it goes well, and I appreciate the partnership that's been created between the Northwest Local Board of Education and Green Township trustees.
Awesome. Bob?
Susan, great presentation tonight with your team. Once again, it exhibits that we continue to look outside the box of how we traditionally educate students. The flipped classroom was a good example of that, and that was something to be commended on. So thank you very much for what you did.
Jim?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that. It was an excellent presentation. And don't lose Danielle as a teacher. Let's keep her. She's very, very good. And I want you to thank Dana and Brad, because I know that they're going to be hosting the Pole Rate Invite over at Northwest, which is actually the longest continuing running track meet in the city of Cincinnati. And appreciate all the hard work in that. So we'll be out there next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what other people had said. First of all, I love the fact that the Teachers Association is starting to get back into recognize publicly the teachers. We have a lot of wonderful educators, and it's nice to take the time to showcase them. As far as Northwest and their presentation, love that you include students in the presentation. It is nice to hear directly from them because, as we know, they're going to be honest, brutally honest, and it's great to hear what they have to say, good and bad, and your team's doing a phenomenal job, so very, very exciting. Also, to remind everybody that this Thursday evening, the Night of Honor is, they will be doing their induction for the Northwest Hall of Fame, so that's Thursday evening. Michael mentioned the dedication of the White Oak track, and then tomorrow night at Northgate Mall, Paletta time? 6 to 8.
Near Sears.
Right down by Sears. We're going to have several of our school groups performing, but the signs will be available for the levy. We have an important levy coming up, and we don't want to just take it for granted, so please take the time, stop by, pick up your signs, see the groups and that are performing, and we hope to see everybody out there. With that, I think we'll move. I will pause so Chris can write it down because I go too fast. But we're going to take a motion here to move into executive session. The board will approve a motion to move into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
The superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We will take action. You're welcome to stay, or you can read it in the minutes. But with that, let's
Go for the, take a vote. Motion passes 5-0. So I'm not sure how long we'll be in, but we will be taking action afterwards. Okay, do I have a motion to end executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Chris? That motion passes 5-0. And do I have a motion from someone?
Yes, we do. I would like to make a motion to extend Todd Bowling's contract as superintendent until July 31st, 2022.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or questions?
I think we're lucky to have somebody as dedicated as Todd.
Wait a minute,
Is leading the school.
That's the same day that Amy's is, right? Or she says
Yes,
that?
July
Okay.
31st.
Okay, just want to make sure. Sorry.
Okay. And I too want to say that this board is extremely excited to know that both Todd and Amy will be here with us for at least the next 5 years and working together to keep this district moving forward. So, Chris, call for the vote.
Mrs. Detzel?
Aye.
Mr. Harlow?
Aye.
Mr. Heather?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Detzel?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. How about a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Chris? Motion passes 5-0. Meeting adjourned.